a long time, man, but I'm back. Finally found a platform that I am super happy with. 2011 CTS-V Coupe. Gonna skip all the formalities. And first thing I did when I got it is put a catch can on it. I blacked out some of the chrome. I'm gonna paint these chrome grills as well later on. I just didn't want to have to pull the bumper off and not upgrade the heat exchanger while I was in there. So I'm gonna pull the bumper off, install the heat exchanger, and I have a ZL1 lid because, like I said, I put a catch can on this, a Mighty Mouse catch can, and I'm sure with the amount of miles on it, it's never had a catch can, all right? I'm sure the blower, the brick in the CTS-V lid is collapsed and it's covered in oil. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So I just went ahead and ordered a new ZL1 lid. I'm kind of regretting it because that was like $1,400, something like that, from DMS. It's milled. All that, I'll get into it later, but I could have just paid a little bit more, like $700-800 more for a Kong lid, which really amplifies the sound of the supercharger wine. But that's all. I digress. That's a whole nother thing. Let's pop the hood and show you what's in there. All right, so like I said, stock. I did a muffler delete on it. I had some chrome bits wrapped, but otherwise it's mostly stock. Canon intake. I might just get an air raid because that seems to be the best for these cars, or modify the bottom of this filter or air box because it has a Canon filter, the Canon elbow, but that's a whole nother subject. Like I said, CTS-V lid. I went ahead and bet that with the mileage on this car, it's been years. I mean, it's 2011. The brick is collapsed in there. That's my guess. I'm gonna take it off. We're gonna find out at the same time if it's collapsed or not. If I wasted my money, because I highly doubt this is reinforced. And I'm pretty sure it's caked with oil. So we're gonna find out if the ZL1 lid was worth it or not. Here it is from DMS. It's milled to clear the hood. Now I will be taking this off, this fiberglass. I'm sure that traps some heat, but from DMS, it's reinforced. I don't know if you guys can see that portion here. But yeah, definitely a big cosmetic upgrade, if nothing else. All right, so. Now, what I also got from DMS, Dedicated Motorsports, shout out to them, is a CSF heat exchanger. All right, it's not as big as I thought it'd be, but I mean, I'm not gonna complain. CSF knows what they're doing. You guys can see 12 AN. I guess modified from DMS, but not too much to say about this. It's way thicker than the OEM one. I have no doubt it'll definitely improve cooling. But, you know, I wanted the, I think it's called Vatter, where it's dual. They're two, you know, pretty thick heat exchangers, but the silver cores were out of stock, so I'm not gonna wait, you know, to go with this. So, let's get into it. Oh, I didn't like that one. Okay, so right before I get into it, what I'm gonna do is take the bumper off, and I'm gonna get to the heat exchanger and drain it from the bottom, okay, to get the fluids out, because I was gonna take the lid off first, but then the lines in the back, you know what I'm saying, needs to be drained. So I'm gonna have to drain it from the bottom, take the heat exchanger off, put the new heat exchanger on, and then work my way up to the top, because I also have, what's that? All right, I also have a bunch of 3/4 ID heater hose, I guess, and push lock 12 AN fitting. So it'll be 3/4 inch all throughout, because I know some parts are 5/8 inch and some hard lines get even smaller. So I'm gonna redo all the lines one time while I'm in there. So yeah, gonna work from the bottom up to the top. All right, one more thing. So I'm gonna do a time lapse of me taking everything off, and periodically I'm gonna stop so I can go into depth on like the ZL1 lid and the heat exchanger or whatever else I need to go into depth with. All right. So Enjoy the music, enjoy the video. So that crash bar was a bit of a bear. Cut my damn hands up, but otherwise it was straightforward. See, I got the old heat exchanger out, and it is criminally undersized, right? I was looking at the CSF and I was like, wow, this isn't as big as I thought. But now looking at the OEM, it is very small. Not to mention, this thing is gunked up, it's dirty. Long overdue. But let me pull out the CSF and do a little side by side. Here's the CSF. Now CSF and DMS, Dedicated Motorsports, they partnered up on this. I'm pretty sure just to modify it to add, I don't know what I'm talking about, just to add the 12 AM fittings, I guess. I'm not sure if it's any different than the other CSF heat exchanger. Let me get this off real quick. Okay, here we go. So you see the CSF and then you see the DMS logo, but there you are. Let's see if y'all can see. Can y'all see that? Here's a comparison. Again, it's much thicker, but it's not as thick as I thought it'd be. I'm not gonna lie to you. Kind of disappointed, but definitely more volume. definitely more cooling. After a pull, temps will definitely drop way more quickly. But yeah, nice little unit. Alright, so the fittings that DMS so graciously provided me, they're here. So what I'm gonna have to do, because what I wanted to do, I don't know how well y'all can see this. Let me pull out my alright, so these hard lines here, you probably can't see them coming off that hose. I want to replace them with rubber, alright, but I don't really see a way how to route it. I'm probably just gonna have to wait till I get a ice tank or something and just worry about it then. But for now, what I'm gonna do is I am just going to cut this shorter so that it'll go right into this 120-degree fitting. And same with this side. All right, over here. So I'm just gonna snip this off. Same with that side, and just plug it in. All right. All right, so there we are. I'm gonna get those situated and give the AN fitting a final cinch down. But you see what it looks like. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna remove the strut tower or the strut brace or whatever you call it, and then remove the lid. All right, and then I'm gonna put the ZL1 lid on, route all the lines where I'm gonna be, fill the system. I'll probably start the car, make sure everything's good, make sure it, has enough fluid and everything, and then I'll start putting everything back on. The crash bar, all the air dam stuff, the bolts, all that stuff, the bumper, yada yada. So, all right, everything's loose. Let's see what it looks like under. Oh, fuck. I forgot about that. Let me dump this out real quick. All right, so like I said, when I bought this car, I put a Mighty Mouse catch can on it. But you can see what happens when you don't use a catch can, all right? Always use a catch can, y'all. But funny thing is, this brick is not collapsed, which is insane to me. But you can see how filthy it is. But yeah, let me compare these to the lid. The ZL1 lid and the CTS-V lid. I'll compare them here in a second. ZL1 lid, milled to clear the hood. And side note, I took the hood liner off, or the fiberglass mat or whatever. Some say it's a sound deadener, some say it's heat insulation. I don't know what it is. I took it off, and come to find out, the whole hood isn't painted. Just my luck, but yeah, two lids. Let me flip it over real quick. And here we are, squeaky clean. This one's filthy, but brick is not collapsed miraculously, and this brick is reinforced metal plate welded on to keep it from collapsing. So everything on the lid is all snugged up, bolts on, alright, fittings on. I gotta just put the 90s on and route the hose, and then go ahead and bleed this, make sure everything's good, and then start putting it back together. So there I have it, CTS-V lid, CSF heat exchanger. Now, I wanted to do cooling right off the bat for the power it's gonna be putting down eventually, but this is a very expensive way of doing it. Y'all don't have to do it this way. There's way cheaper options. You don't need to change your lid, okay? I only did it because I wanted to get my CTS-V lid powder coated. That was gonna be some money.
I assumed the brick was collapsed. It wasn't, so I have a perfectly good CTS-V lid down. But I do have a reinforced one. I believe the fin density is a little better on this. There's a number of little minor upgrades on the ZL1 lid. So y'all obviously saw the stock heat exchanger that needed to go. So you can replace that with any brand and do the upgrade. Before, when I come home on a highway or whatever, and it's cold here, 30s, 40s, 50s, the supercharger will be really hot. Now when I drained the coolant out of the system, it was really low. I don't know if that's just stock capacity, whatever, if it had air in it, I don't know. But now everything's cold to the touch. The lines are always cold, like everything's nice and cool, okay? It matches the temperature outside. So definitely more efficient. I definitely can do more sustained pulls. Not that I'm really racing out here anyway, the car seems dead, but yeah, so next I'm definitely gonna do exhaust. I gotta do the fuel. I probably have to upgrade the pumps. Not sure how far they can take me. I only want 652 wheel. So I'll be doing exhaust, a pulley. I'll probably be putting a cam in it. I'm leaning towards LS9. I don't know if I want it a little bit more mild, a little bit more chop. It is a very comfortable Cadillac. I was gonna lower it, but I may not because the ride is so good. So, you know, I'm getting old. You know, I'm getting grays in my beard or mustache. I'm getting old, all right? I like to be comfortable. So, you know, look out for the next videos next week. I want to cam it next week, but I'm not going to commit to it. Maybe exhaust, but y'all follow along, all right? So, let me get on topic. The grill I painted looks phenomenal, all right? I use VHT engine enamel because it doesn't ship. It's really, it's heat resistant, oil resistant, grease resistant, all that stuff. So I figured bugs and stuff like that, you know, it'll be more resistant towards that. We'll see how long it holds up. But the heat exchanger really pops well in like natural light. The light here isn't really that good, so you probably can't catch it like the way I see it or have seen it. But just from like looks wise, it's a hell of an upgrade with the heat exchanger and the blacked out grills. Should have came from the factory like this, all right? The ZL1 lid definitely adds a nice look to it as well. So I'm happy. I spent a lot of money. I should have spent a little bit extra, got a Kong lid, but that's neither here or there. Like I said, my first video in a while. This is by far my favorite car, by far the best car I've ever had. And like I always tell people, I always took the supercharger and brembos from this car and put them on my other car. So it was like a natural thing for me to want this car and actually get it and actually enjoy it. So this is the car. I plan on going through it top to bottom, you know, doing all kinds of things to it. So like I said, if y'all into the car, you want to support, follow along, all right? Thanks, I guess, sorry. Thanks.